Hey everybody and welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. We are on episode 82 and I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And this week we have a special guest with us and that is Sam Healey. Hi Sam.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So we're going to be doing our top 5 games that we played at the Calgary Tabletop Game Day because Sam, you were a special guest there.
Yes.
Me and Carla got to go. It was such a good weekend.
You were both special guests, too. Don't make me seem more special. That's not okay. We were all brought in. So, yeah, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, it was good. So, what we're going to do, normally we talk about games we've played. Since this is all going to be a list about games we played, we'll talk a little bit about different aspects of the weekend that we enjoy, and then we can get into our top 5. I'll get started. You know what?
Okay.
One of the things that impressed me this weekend was the Grinch. That they had
Dude.
Santa and the Grinch show up, and that Grinch was so amazing.
Dude was on point. That is absolutely correct. The only thing I didn't like about the Grinch is that his greens didn't match.
Right. He had like a mask that did the bottom
Yeah.
portion of his face.
Yes.
But the kids loved him. And like
Yeah.
he was, because they did, the Grinch and Santa played Dice Throne Santa versus Krampus.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Santa won. But
He did?
afterwards, yeah, Santa won. But afterwards, the Grinch was going from table to table saying, I won! And the kids are following him, running behind him. No, he didn't! No, he didn't! Santa won! And he's going from table to table. And
That's
the kids
great.
just ran after him. It was hilarious. Oh my God, he was good.
He sounded just like Jim Carrey. Like I was sitting at the table next to him and I wasn't looking and I could swear that it was Jim Carrey. He had the physical comedy just like him. You know, he would just move all over the place. He was playing Santa. Santa's cheating. Everybody, Santa hit me. Kids, he's hitting me. You know? He's just hilarious. Oh, that was totally entertaining for me.
I would dare say he just sounded like the Grinch because after Jim Carrey's performance, there is no other persona that is better than that Grinch.
Yeah,
he just did such an amazing job with it. My wife and I just did a top 5 Christmas movies that's actually going to be released this morning in a couple of hours.
Nice. Oh, nice.
And hashtag spoilers, Jim Carrey's Grinch performance made both of our lists. That's like a staple in our house every Christmas season. So
yeah.
We've already watched it, me and my daughter. It's her too. And she's 23 and she loves this.
Well, my son, my second oldest son, David, he when he was a kid, he was terrified of the Grinch.
The cartoon one or the
my oldest one was born in 99 and David was born in 2000. And so that's when that movie came out. So his we never even showed him the original Grinch. That's not even on the table. He's seen it after the fact, but Jim Carrey's The Grinch terrified him as a kid.
Yeah. Well,
he loves
he
it
does
now,
look
but he's
scary.
terrified. Yeah, he's scary. Yeah. But
awesome.
it's a great, it's stellar performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Santa's like his
he looked amazing.
costume, and he is the Santa.
Yeah.
He had 2 different costume changes, I think, and they were both just like, what? Did this literally come from the north? Like, they were just perfect. Like,
He must have been roasting in there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh yeah, it was not cold in the hall, that's for sure.
No.
So that was my first takeaway. How about you guys?
Yeah. Well, for me, the panel was so fun. We were sitting up there and we kind of moved around a little bit. Me and Mel had these goofy mics on.
I'm sorry.
Did you see our hair was poking out everywhere?
I'm sorry.
It's just our fault. We didn't know how to work them, and it's our first time.
I absolutely loathe those things that just wrap around the bottom of your head and come up over your ears. Oh, I hate them.
I was trying to figure out how to put them on, and then I
yours was kept falling as you're talking.
I have a narrow head, I think. I'm like, can I tighten this thing? And it's like slowly coming down.
Yeah.
But no, that was so much fun. That just chatting with you guys up there and talking about our lists and some of the crossover, the questions after. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
That's good stuff. I didn't include the questions after.
Yeah.
In our when I put it up on my channel, but the only reason I didn't is because of audio and all of that kind of stuff. Because some of the people didn't really hold their mics up very well when they were asking the questions. But yeah, that was a good time as well. The questions after the fact. My favorite part of the weekend was, and this is going to be a shocker, and I know people expect a certain thing out of me, but the Bloodrage tournament was just absolutely fun. I usually avoid tournaments like the plague because I don't like what tournaments usually do to the players. The players turn into this. This is now business, and this is no longer for fun. And I'm like, it kind of is. Yeah. So I usually avoid tournaments like the plague, but this tournament had its own feel to it. We only had 8 players to begin with, and 2 of them were brand new players. No, 3 of them were brand new players. Travis went and recruited 3 people just as they were coming in the door so that we could have 8 players, and they came in like a bunch of champs, just really playing well and learning well too. Those were Justin and Mallory were probably the 2 easiest learners that I think I've ever had with Bloodrage. They just picked it right up. And they saw what, because it's your learning game. You make mistakes all the time, and they saw where they were making mistakes, and they tried to recover from them, but they didn't. But it was just a great thing. Justin ended up going into the championship game. We played 2 4-player games, and then the top 2 of those 2 games came in, and Melanie and Travis were the top 2 from their game. And so it was Melanie and Travis, me and Justin in the championship game, and that was a blast as well. Yeah. And it was cool to watch Justin kind of
he messed me up so many times.
Spread his wings. Yes. He learned from the master and started siphoning rage in round 1, and I'm like, "Yes. You are my Padawan." But
I totally missed that whole tournament. I wasn't there Friday. I would have tried that out. Yeah,
but it was a couple of firsts for me. It's not the first tournament I've been part of, but it's the first tournament that I really enjoyed. And then it's also the first tournament that I run in person. I've run a Super Fantasy Brawl tournament online, but it's really the first one that I really, really enjoyed. Had a great time playing. I think everybody just really enjoyed themselves, and we all had a great time. So that was kind of the highlight, but really, really close second was that top 5 that we did. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if it's like Canadian tournament, because the Lorcana tournament, from what I understand, they play like the top prize was $1,000, and when they got to the top 8, they're like, okay, should we just split it between us 8? And I think that's what they ended up doing. Yeah.
No way.
Wow.
I think they kept going for like one winner, but they're like, okay, you know what? Let's just split it between. Somebody was telling me this, so I was like,
I would at least went to top 4. 250 is better.
Yeah. Oh, the businesswoman is coming out. Greatest return for my investment, people. Yeah. No, I get it.
And then they had the Christmas market. So did you get a chance to walk around that?
I did not.
No, you kind of were stuck at the
I was stuck at the booth. And before we move on, I was able to sit and kind of listen to conversations between Troy and the person who was running the Lorcana tournament.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there was a little bit more nastiness there than meets the eye.
I thought I heard the judges called over a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Judge.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I've never listened to like one of those card game tournaments, so it was
Yeah,
interesting.
apparently one person was shuffling their cards in a way that sucks up time.
Oh.
Yes, it sucks up time. It takes longer than a regular, just like, riffle shuffle or whatever you call them. And another person apparently lied about who won their match, and it kept somebody from going into the. Well, the person that was lied about, it was said that they lost. They should have checked back.
Yes.
That's kind of on them, but somebody was banking on the fact that they wouldn't and lied about it and actually moved on in the tournament, keeping the other person from moving on. Oh, wow. So that's the kind of thing, though. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Tournaments bring that out in people, and I just don't like it. But I don't know. It's just the way it is. When you got money on the line, it changes people's personas almost.
For sure.
And I know people drove, like there was people, friends of mine from Edmonton that drove up just for the tournament alone.
Oh, I think people came from like far and wide.
Well, yeah, not even further, but I thought, wow, you just came for the tournament? That's it?
Yeah.
I would have at least attended like the rest of the weekend, get some other kind of gaming in.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with tournament. Like, I don't want to be giving up that much time, real estate of my board gaming weekend to one game.
True.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it pulls something different out of a person. Like I used to be an athlete and play in all kinds of sports teams. And when I injured my knee and then found board gaming, it kind of it gave me the same itch, but it's not the competitive, like it's still competitive. But if I were to enter a tournament, you would see
Carla
a different Carla. You'd see a different me in there, and I probably wouldn't like that person.
We would see Marla come out, not Carla.
But
chairs would be thrown, tables flipped, kingdoms won.
Stop at nothing. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, the Christmas market though. I'm not. My wife would have probably been over there. She is a Christmas market junkie. She loved.
She's a June baby.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're finding this out. Yeah, we're going to open that up. We're going to ask our PCP and see what he says about it. But when we were in Germany visiting my daughter, we probably went to 4 or 5 different Christmas markets last year.
Oh wow!
And of course, the Germans go all out with their Christmas markets, but we really enjoyed that. I didn't get the chance to check this one out though. I did walk through because the concession stand was over there, so
true.
There were a couple times where I had to get something to eat. And so I walked through it that way. And honestly, there just wasn't a whole lot that was appealing to me specifically. So I didn't make time to go check it out further. But that's just a me thing. That's not necessarily a Christmas market thing. That's just a me thing. So
I
took advantage and went home with a few new games.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't. Oh, was Troy's store part of the Christmas market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yes, I did purchase things from the Christmas market. They were definitely Christmassy type things.
Right. I think the Christmas is a very loose description here.
Yeah.
Yes, they were
heavy on the market.
Early Christmas presents for myself. Yes.
Yeah. You have pets. My pets wrap up presents for me. I have gifts.
I didn't wrap anything. I opened them and played them.
No, wait.
Did you use that tactic?
Did we just wait? We just skipped over the fact that Carla said her pets wrap presents for her.
Well, she wraps them. She just says, what you put on the label.
Oh, it's what she puts on the label. See, it's too early. I didn't catch that. Or do
they wrap them? We'll never know.
I mean, yeah, I was like, she's taught her pets how to evolve past the rest of their species, and they've grown opposable thumbs and know how to use tape.
Turtles are very given as well.
Wait, they're turtles?
Mine is a turtle.
Mel has a turtle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mine are dogs.
Dogs, cool. What kind of dogs?
Australian Shepherds.
Australian Shepherds. We've got a chocolate lab, purebred chocolate lab.
You were telling me about her or him.
Oh yeah, him.
And jumped on the Death Star or something.
No, that was the cat.
Oh,
that
right.
was Max. That was Max. Max jumped on the Death Star light that we have above our kitchen table, and the dog was going absolute nutso over it. You know, it's like siblings. If one of them's doing something they shouldn't be doing, the other one's yelling and screaming about it, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. They're perpetual toddlers, I find. And I actually love toddlers. They're my favorite thing in the world because they're the funniest things you can see.
Oh, the stuff they come up with, yeah.
So dogs to me are just like that.
85-pound toddlers.
I don't have that. I have 35 pounds.
That's not
and a 20
okay.
pound.
Yeah, 85-pound toddlers that know how to throw their weight around. No, that's not cool.
Yeah, I think mine is like 1 or 2 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Well, a turtle, right?
Although he's escaped his
oh my God.
Aquarium.
Yeah. He jumped out the other day. I can hear him like thunk. I'm like, oh no.
I told you he's a ninja turtle.
That you're describing something that's more than just a turtle, because the last I checked, turtles don't jump anywhere.
They
barely walk.
No, they're quite the climbers as well. Like, we'll leave him out, and then he'll go and then climb up our legs and climb up, and then, but like, he has no sense of danger. He would, like,
I just gave me the willies. Stop talking about turtles climbing up your leg.
It's lovely. It's like snuggling a cold rock.
That's
so
that's
loving.
Not lovely. That doesn't sound lovely at all.
She brings him out when we play games, and he's climbing around. And
we did a Halloween party, and he had his own little costume, and he came out.
He's got
my goodness gracious!
Yeah,
we're now getting a glimpse of what we get a glimpse of what Canadians really do for the holidays.
I got to entertain somehow.
We're really into our pets.
All right, let's get started with our top 5. So we're going to be talking about the top 5 games we played over the Calgary Tabletop Game Day. Carla, do you want to get us started?
All right. Well, my number 5 is called Comic Hunters, and this was made in 2020 by Diego Sa, I'm going to say. I think that's how it would be pronounced. It's an S-A with a little funny thing over the A. Now, this one, JT taught me and Travis, and it's a game that you can't get here apparently.
Nope.
It's from Brazil,
an auction,
right? Yep.
From Brazil, an auction set collecting game, and it's kind of neat because there's 4 different types of auctions that you will play throughout the game, but you kind of you'll do 3 of them per round, and there's 3 rounds, so it kind of has that scoring method like cartographers, where there's 4 and they'll choose 3, and then the next time they'll choose a different 3. I mean, it's not scoring, but it's auction, and it's quite neat because these comics are all, like Spider-Man, Captain America, and all kinds of things, and the game will change every time because you're going to choose which ones are going to be rare, popular, and less popular, and then 2 that are not even going to be popular at all. And then you also have these different symbols that are on the cards that can be scored as well. And that always kind of threw me off because I played it twice. The first time, like JT taught us, and we ran through it and played it, and it's quite neat because you're just drafting cards basically in different ways, and some really cool auction type ways. And then you're just at the end of the game, you're going to count up your collection, and you're going to try to have, well, there's different ways to score. You can have a bunch of different collections as long as you have 3 of each card. You can get big points that way, or you can have like one giant collection and get big points by having, I think 12 cards will give you a whole bunch of points. And then all these different symbols on the bottom. whoever has the most of them will get some big points as well. It's a very simple concept. He taught it to us in, minutes, and we played. And I loved it. And of course, you like it a little more when you can't get it, because it's always, you can't get it, hey? But I was
really
sure
want
I'd
it
seen
now.
this on the used market. So I said to JT, I'm going to find one for you. I'm going to send it to you. So then the next day we played it. Travis was walking around. Our friend Travis just loved this game. He's like, we have to play this again because we can't ever play it. So I'm like, okay, let's play it again. And we played with our friend Bernie. And Bernie, he's a Filipino who he seems to know everyone all over the earth. Like, he has friends. He's one of those people, he knows somebody everywhere. He goes, I have a friend in Brazil. We're like, of course you do. And so he's going to contact him, see if he can, grab a bunch of copies and send them over. I said, they're probably like $20 over there or something, silly. But so we might have a source for this game.
JT could not stop talking about this game. And I was, it's really, the cool thing that I like about it is that each of the cards that you're drafting are like the picture of a comic book, the front of a comic book. So you're actually, I'm a huge theme person. So what you're doing is you're not just collecting cards, you're collecting, you're forming your own comic book collection. That was just a really cool thing that they did by making the cards look like a comic book. Just a really cool thing. I love the picture of Stan Lee with the Infinity Gauntlet in there as well. Just a really cool thing. But yeah, I didn't get to play this. I really, it caught my eye because I'm a huge superhero fan type person.
Yeah.
But just didn't ever get away. It was just like sitting right across the aisle, like literally.
Right in front of you, yeah.
Yeah, and we just couldn't get over there to play it. But JT couldn't stop talking about it. He loved playing that game. And we were both kind of bummed that we wouldn't be able to get a copy of it. So if your friend does come through, please do let us know.
I'm sending one over to JT. I said, this is my mission. So one day, it might be 5-10 years from now, he's got a copy.
Should you choose to accept it.
Yes. And I think the reason they didn't bring it over to the States was some sort of licensing for like each picture of the comic or something we were trying to figure out.
Well,
that they would have had to actually get licensing for each card, and it would have been a ridiculous price.
Yeah, bringing that game over to the States would be a freaking nightmare. Absolutely. Paperwork speaking, business and IP and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that would be he could probably do it if he had the money, but then it would jack the price of the game up so high it would be unreal
or something. Yeah, Travis is going to make his own version, he said.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be lovely.
And I'm like, maybe you should leave that to Ashley. We have like a friend who is designing games, but she's very graphic, and she has she could easily do it, but she didn't get to play it, so she doesn't even know how good it is.
Yeah, Travis will have like glue dripping off of all the cards.
They're not quite square.
Okay.
I'm a terrific artist. If you've ever played Pictionary with me or anything.
I have.
Yeah.
That's why she's laughing, Carla. I'm just saying. We do, what is it? It's the blue game. It's the one
like
that has
Telestration?
Telestrations, yes.
That's what we just played.
And
yeah.
My wife and stepson are the ones that get the laughter going. Let's put it that way.
Oh, really?
with their drawings and what they were supposed to be drawing, but what it actually looks like. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I'll go next. My number 5 is It's a Wonderful World. This was Saturday, very end of the day. Like, we're nearing midnight, and I'm like, I am done. I can't go on. And then my friend was like, oh, no, but we got to play this. It's only 4 rounds. And I wouldn't have stayed, except that this one has sat on my shelf of shame for like a year or 2. And I was like, oh, but this is a good opportunity. All right, twist my rubber arm. And we got playing it, and it's super simple. You play over 4 rounds. It's a card drafting game, so you draft the cards you want to get, and then afterwards, in the planning stage, you decide which one are you going to discard for the resources, which one are you going to try to build, trying to create this engine building scenario. With this, like, I think there could be a lot of AP in this one, analysis paralysis. And you saw a little bit of that. I think it's because it was so late. Like, I'm barely trying. I'm like, okay, discard this, keep this, done. And then I'm sitting there waiting. So, and mind you, I didn't win, so maybe I should have paid a little more attention. But and then, like, my friend was like, he had, I don't know, like, almost 20 cards in front of him. He's trying to build. I'm like, I think you're insane. Like, how are you gonna get this done? He's like, I shouldn't be keeping all these. I shouldn't be keeping all these. But I think he ended up building all but one. And then on my last round, I like ran out of stuff to build. So I was like, oh yeah, I should have pushed a little more. But it was so neat. Like, in some of the stuff, like, you can activate something because it activates in certain order. So if you acquire a card early enough, it'll be able to activate that round. So kind of planning that was it was really neat. I really enjoyed that one. Kind of makes me wonder more about It's a Wonderful Kingdom now, but
that's a 2-player version of it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And then fantasy themed, right?
Yeah, it has a different theme. I haven't played that one. I've only played It's a Wonderful World. But
there you go. Well, It's a Wonderful World was very wonderful. And I quite enjoyed it. So that was my number 5. It's a Wonderful World. Oh, I forgot to say it was published in 2019, created by Frédéric Gérard.
Yeah, I'm not going to have all that information.
That's all right.
My number 5 was a game that JT actually brought up so that we could showcase it on the channel. We knew that Troy was going to have a copy of it in the Hot Games area, but we didn't want to take that away from the Hot Games area, so he brought his own copy of Apiary up.
Nice.
And we actually played a 2-player version of it back at the hotel, and then he ran a Learn to Play live stream on our channel there at our booth, and he taught Troy, Graham, and I can't remember the other person's name. But anyway, he ran a 4-player game of it on the live stream and taught everybody how to play. And it's about as fun as you could possibly think you would have playing a game about space bees. And I mean, the thing that I thought that was there's a lot going on the board. There's a lot of choices that you have to make, but it runs so smoothly. That's what nice. I loved about it. I mean, you would. A lot of Euro style games, in my opinion at least, they have so much going on. They're tremendous designs, but at the end of the day, they just feel clunky to me. Mm-hmm. It just like they just kind of churn along like a transmission that needs more fluid in it, but it still runs, but you could tell it's not optimal. That's what they feel like to me. This one didn't. I saw the moving parts. I saw everything going on, and it all just kind of gelled and flowed together, and it was just very fun and strangely thematic because
weird.
Bees in space, that what kind of theme is that, but it's strangely thematic. They did a lot of work. The only I think disconnect was that there was they used nectar was the one thing in the theme that wasn't used that I think should have been used. And that was the only disconnect for me as far as the theme was concerned. Everything else flowed really well together. They even went so far as to do the little bee dance thing.
That's cool.
Which apparently bees love doing this. This is something that bees actually do. They actually do a little dance, and that's why it was in the bee movie and all of that kind of stuff. Movie. But it was just a really fun time, and I wasn't expecting to like it because I'm not big on most of Stonemaier games' games. Mm-hmm. But this one was fun. This one was a very enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to get it back to the table again. That's Apiary.
The components look cool. Like I went around taking lots of pictures, and I took a picture of this one. I was like, oh, what are these little pigs?
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Little pigs.
No, the bee game.
Good try, Melanie.
And I was like, oh, Apiary. I was like, never mind.
Good try. You're trying so hard. I appreciate that.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like, they don't scream bees. to look at them.
No, they don't. They are really they're rather chunky, and they're disproportionate. Bees are pretty proportionate people, animals or insects. There you go. But yeah, these were not proportionate. They look more like dice, and that's what I was doing. No, they look like dice. Pigs are not square; they are round-ish.
She's thinking of Happy
They are
Pigs
kind of
game.
rectangular. I don't know about Canadian bacon. I don't know how that is, but
they're very cubey.
That's funny. But I was actually, when JT was teaching me how that night at the hotel, I actually started rolling them because they look like dice. They're very angular, and they're square, and they have one number, 1 to 4 on each side of the square, which makes up their abdomen. And then of course they have a very bee-like head and I guess part of the tail. I don't know what you call it, but
a stinger.
Yeah, the stinger. But it was, everything about it. The component quality was great. Gameplay was really fun. And it was strangely, like I said earlier, strangely thematic. So I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Perfect. Carla, your number 4.
Yes, my number 4 is Knarr, made in 2023 by Carrion Antone. Now, this one is a small box game, but it's a beautiful art in this. This is like a Viking-themed exploring card game. And you have these big tarot cards that you will play as, and the art on them and the colors are so vibrant. It almost reminds me of Odin's Ravens art. Not quite as vibrant, but almost, which I love the art in that game. It's just gorgeous. This one, you are playing these cards into your tableau, and they have different colors on them, and the explorers that are all like the faces they put on them, like of the Vikings, are just so cool. But you'll play one into your tableau. You start with some, and then whatever color you play, if you already have one of those, you'll activate all of that. And so you are trying to, of course, get to the 40 points before anybody else. So it's a race game, but you're building your engine and trying to build the best point scoring engine, the quickest point scoring engine that you can. And there's different ways to do that. You can just play one card that literally just has a victory point and you move up. If you have more cards in that line, you could improve your, I'm going to say reputation, but it's probably called something else. And that's in the middle of the scoring board. And as you move up this track, once you get to certain points, like you'll get to 1, every round you're going to score a point no matter what. Then once you pop it up to 2, you're going to get 2 points every round. You're collecting these bracelets on the right side of your little board. And then on the left, you're collecting these recruits. And you can have the most 3 of each. And you can use them for different things. The bracelets are used to activate your ships, and you start with one ship that is on your card already, and then you can go explore and add more ships. And they have 3 different connections in them, and spending bracelets will activate those whole connection lines. It's so cool because you're trying to figure out, do I build up my engine of all my recruits first before I go out and explore? Because then you have to spend those cards and then they're gone. You can use your little blue recruits that you gather, but you only can have 3 max. So once you get these cards, there's the explore cards. Some are like very small point wise, but then they have really good connections to them. So do I just get a bunch of small cards and get a whole bunch of good connections and, get my points that way? Or do I build up and get these big cards that'll give me 7 points right now, and then a bunch of little resources? It's just a neat way of, figuring out a little engine. And it's played in, 15 minutes, I think. They had a little tournament, which I missed.
Nice.
I didn't get to play. And I like Sam, I'm not really interested in big tournaments. But then the next day, they had, because the tournament, there was only a few players, Travis convinced him, let's have one little tournament or one game and the winner gets to win the game. And so me, him, and Bernie played and I beat them, so I got to win the game.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Travis is always hustling, man.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Travis is a little hustler. I like it.
Yeah, I think that game was the most played game that weekend. It was out on the table. I think so. Like, I know my siblings were attending. They've played it at least 4 times.
Yeah.
Somebody was sitting at that table playing that game, and then it was out of the library almost all the time.
That is
I suspect this might have been one of the most played games.
Yeah, EO Games was I think he's one of your Canadian publishers, and he's
distributor.
Distributor, yes, that's what I meant. Publisher, I didn't mean to say publisher, but yeah. He's one of your Canadian distributors, and I got to talk to him, and he was kind enough to give me a review copy of it. And
nice.
I've been super looking forward to it. I believe this came out at Essen, I think, is where it made its debut this year, and I saw it. I was loving it. Kelty is another one.
Yeah, I want to try that one. It didn't happen.
Oh, I got to when I came back this week on Tuesday, I had a meeting with Luis Costa of Pythagoras Games, and he was able to teach it to me over Tabletop Simulator. It is a fun game.
It looks amazing.
It looks really good. The tabletop simulator was, it was a blinged out copy. It had a point calculator, everything on it. The table was great, but the physical components of this game are really break it out. It's the same artist that did all of the Raiders of the North Sea and Paladins of the West Kingdom and all of those games. It's the same artist that did that. And the box cover is just amazing. It has that vibrant, red-headed Celtic warrior on there, just like, from the movie Brave. It's an amazing looking game, and it was really fun to play. I'm really hoping that I'll be able to get, they'll send me a copy of it, because I wasn't at Essen. I wasn't able to pick it up. I would have gladly picked it up, but hopefully they'll send a copy, and I'll get to showcase it on the channel a little bit. But anyway, nice. Knarr, I was able to pick it up, and I've already opened it up and punched it all out and everything like that, but I haven't been able to play it yet. And I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, everybody that tells me about it has really enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And it's quicker than you think too, because you're like 40 points. That's going to take a while, and then all of a sudden you just ramp up your engine, and boom, it's over. Well, let's play again.
That's how After Us is from Pandasaurus.
Oh, okay.
It's a race to 80 points, and it's over a lot faster than you think it will be. So I like that.
Yeah, me too. When it's too quick, and you're like, I want to do more.
I need it more.
I need more.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I found was like I would spend my card as quickly as I got. And then it looks like I was in a nice lead, but then people would go like, well, I have these 20 cards. Let me spend them all and win. So yeah, it was a neat game for sure. My number 4 is a game that has been on my shelf of shame the longest. And then my friend Dave was like, well, let's play it. And I was like, oh, yes, please. So Robo Rally finally got played. This was my first programming game ever. This one was published, the original was published in 1994. They had like the reprinted version. And this is created by Richard Garfield. And I knew I would like it. Hence why I'm keeping the game. It just never happened for me. So we ended up playing, I think we were all 6 players. Like my siblings played with me, my friend Dave, and then Paul and Michael were there. And it's just so cool. Like my sister, you got to meet her, but she's a character, and then like my first action is I spin over and I face the other way, because in front of me is a conveyor belt that sends me back to where I'm at. So I'm not going to go that way. So I turned over, and now I'm shooting at her. She's like, really? You're shooting me? But it was like, if you're facing another robot, you shoot them. If you land on a conveyor belt, it'll move you. So you're trying, but if another robot moves into you before it moves you, which could totally mess up the the conveyor trying to create. And then if you got shot, you had to take like a damage card that took over some of your programming. And it was really cool. It was really neat. I really enjoy this game. And it's off my shelf of shame. So, but then I'm adding 27. So
yeah, right. I'm glad it's off of your shelf of shame. And I am not going to rain on your parade, but what you just described
did not sound fun for you?
Absolute, pure, total chaos.
Yeah.
And I affectionately call this game the need for anger management. Because I spend so much time getting my program to run exactly the way I want it to, and then somebody runs into you, and you know they were not paying as much attention to what they were playing on their cards as you were on yours, and they knock you completely off course, and now you are off in Timbuktu. Nowhere near what you... But I get it. I want to run my program. That's not necessarily how you're supposed to play the game. You're supposed to have fun knocking each other around and all that kind of stuff.
It's bumper car.
Yeah, it's bumper car. And if we randomly if we had to randomly do our program, I would absolutely be on board for it. I would absolutely be, because I would I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I do. But if you have to plan and then you get all messed up, chaos. And chaos and anger management and therapy. That's what that game calls us. So,
board game therapist. We could start a new profession.
I know, right? See, here's that businesswoman coming out again.
Always thinking.
Yeah, always scheming.
Yeah. Nice. How about
Scheming
you,
is
Sam?
not a bad thing as well. All right, my number 4 is probably the heaviest game of the weekend. Well, no, not probably. It is most definitely the heaviest game of the weekend for me.
Oh,
and that was Darwin's Journey.
Yeah.
Darwin's Journey was I cannot fully and capably explain to you all of the things that are going on, all of the moving pieces on this game. You have people going on hikes. You have a ship that's sailing down the only word that comes to mind is fjord, but it's not a fjord because it's not a Viking game, but the little thingy, the tributary. Yeah. There you go. Maybe that's the right word.
I don't know.
You have multiple people taking hikes. You have, at one point in the game, multiple ships sailing down multiple tributaries. You also have workers over here going and doing this, which is fueling what you're doing over here, and you're doing research on the different specimens of things you're finding, and you're building your multiplier for things that you're doing over here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. But it was so much fun. And the reason why I think that this is higher than Apiary, because I'm usually not a heavy games person, but I think the reason why this is higher than Apiary is because the theme shone so much more, or shined so much more than Apiary's theme did for me. This is one of those everything in the kitchen sink type of games where you have so many different things going on, but you can see why it's part. They didn't just put that in there just to put something else in there. Right. It's like, well, yeah, that's part of the process. You have to go hiking to find stuff. You have to sail your ship down the tributary to find those different trails or to make those different trails where you're going to find those different species. And you've got to go over here and write letters and send your findings back and all of that kind of stuff. And you have to go research the specimens. You have to do everything that's there. So it all made sense, but boy, oh boy, is this a brain burner. Man alive. It was super heavy for me. But I really enjoyed it. It was one of the few games that I've walked away from of that weight thinking, yeah, I'm in to play that one again.
Oh, nice.
Because it was so, the theme and the mechanisms were so well entwined, and I love it when games do that. I don't care how heavy the game is. If you can truly kind of splice your mechanisms into the theme that you're using for the game, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So, and that's definitely what Darwin's Journey did. They did a great job.
It is an awesome game. I love it. And then I don't know if you knew, but you can also flip over the board and it's a whole new game almost.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we were playing. Troy didn't just teach us the base game. He taught us the base game and the expansion at the same time.
There's a bunch of expansions. Did it do Fireland? Or
I don't know the name of them. I don't know the name of it. I apologize.
Skinny brown game or beige game box, right?
I
just saw the box when we were packing it up.
I'm an Amerithrash gamer. Don't show me the box. I didn't see the box. I don't know the box.
Right there.
It's over there. It's one of them things over there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, I am. I don't know how many expansions the game has. We played one of them, but because we had a board that was sitting on top of the regular board, and then that board, that overlay, also was double-sided, I think. So.
There's a bunch of little ones you can mix and match.
Nice.
But I mean, it was really enjoyable. And we forgot. I think I came in last place out of the three of us, me, Troy, and JT. JT won, of course. But I came in third. But JT and I were talking afterwards. We forgot to score for our time. And Troy was maxed out on time. And so he would have gotten negative 15 or 12 points or something like that at the end of the game, which would have put me in second place. Ooh. So in your face, Troy.
I would change that on your, it's a second place win.
It absolutely is. I don't track my plays. I really should, I guess, for posterity, but and for being able to remember everything that I played and how I did and whether or not I liked it and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't. So
it's a commitment.
It all gets put up here in this trap, and then it gets lost after a while because it just default dumps every once in a while. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, that was my number 4, right? Yeah. So we're going on to number 3.
Nice. Yeah. Darwin's Journey is such a good game.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is White Castle, made in 2023 by Isra C. and Shay S. I'm not sure why they don't put their last names on there, but that's how they are on Board Game Geek.
Maybe that is their last name. One letter.
Maybe. Interesting. Anyway, this is one of those small box games, a big game in a small box from the DeVere line. So they had started with the Red Cathedral, which is another game I absolutely love. They made this one and they made Bamboo. Now they all three are bigger box games. This one I would say is closer to Red Cathedral in weight, where it is a beautiful Asian themed game where you are trying to place courtiers in the palace and warriors in the fighting field. That's probably not the right word.
Battlefield.
In the fighting field. And then gardeners in the gardens. And so the board is beautiful. It's got all kinds of beautiful colors. Orange is the main, which I love too. But you have the season marker is this big wooden fish, of course, like an Asian themed fish that looks gorgeous. You have these cranes that everybody has in their player color, and those are the turn order markers. And then on the board, you have these bridges over the gardens, and you will place all the dice there. Now you have 3 of them. There's black, white, and orange, and you will roll these dice and place them on the bridge in ascending order. The bridges are really nice little 3D bridges. They add to the game, but they're also functional because on the bridge you have the middle and then an edge on each side. So the highest dice will go on the far side and then the lowest dice will go on the left side there. And if it depends which one you take, because you can get an extra action that way, but you're basically trying to get out all your warriors, gardeners, and courtiers to get the most points near the end of the game, of course. But how you do that is you have only 9 turns throughout the whole game. You have 3 turns a round. There's 3 rounds. it doesn't sound like much because you're thinking I can only do 9 things. Well, no, you can combo things, which is, Sam doesn't maybe know that about me, but I love games that will combo. You can do 5 things and with just one. I love those kind of games. And this is one of them. It is so neat because you have in the castle, you have all these different areas where you can go, and there's dice placement spots, which when you choose your dice, you can place one there, and you may be able to do 2 or 3 things there, and you may be able to only do 1, but that one thing might let you place a warrior in the fighting grounds, and then you will place that warrior, have to spend some resources, and they don't have physical resources in this. They have a track that you keep your resources on, or that you will track them on. And so to send out your warriors, you need to use metal. I think it's metal or steel. And so when you place them there, then there's a little bonus that you get there. So that might be a bonus, and those change throughout the game because you can place different ones. It might just give you resources, but it might also let you place a courtier. So then you get to do that action just from that single one. And when you place a courtier in there, you're going to spend another resource, which is called Mother of Pearl. And then once you place that one, you will get to maybe bonus off that and place something else, or get more resources or money. Money is pretty tight in this game.
Yeah.
The nice thing about placing your dice is there's always a pip on the board that you're placing. So if it says a 3 and you place a 6 on there, you're going to get $3 back. But if you placed a 1 where it showed a 3, you're going to have to pay. So there's ways you can get money, but you can also, you're not locked out of spots. If you have money, you can pay. And then in a 3 or 4 player game, you can actually stack more dice. So in a 1 or 2 player game, you just can only use 1 spot. But like I said, in a higher player count, if somebody placed a 3 there, I can place another dice on top. And again, depending what I place, if I place a 6, I'm going to get money back. If I place a lower one, I'm going to pay. But it's just trying to figure out the puzzle of how can I maximize my actions from my 9 only action turns. It's JT played with us. I think he really liked this one as well. But
he did. He really enjoyed it. He actually said during the top 5 that he might have put this one on that list if he had played it sooner. But I don't know if he was being tongue in cheek, because it doesn't sound very. I
don't know if it
would be
intro game-ish. Yeah, it doesn't sound very entry level, but he may have just been remarking about how much he enjoyed the game more than its validity for being on that list. But he really enjoyed that game, and a lot of people have been talking about White Castle across the spectrum. So it's one of those. It sounds and it makes sense because JT is also one of those people that loves doing combos.
He does
loves doing combos. His turns in Darwin's Journeys were like, dude, are you done yet? Because he would do exactly that. He would do, I can do this, which allows me to do this. And then when I do that, it allows me to do this. And then when I do that, it allows me to do these 2 other things. And I'm like, bro, we got to catch a plane, Bran. Come on.
Oh, yeah, that is my jam. I love that kind of gameplay. But no, it's awesome. And I ended up, and the game can be so different every time you play. Like I played 2 games of it. The first game, I had almost all my workers out. I had 3 left on my board. The second game, I think I maybe had 5 out on the board. So it just depends what's all out there. Like it can be a very simple puzzle because there's so much, everything's just laid out perfectly, or it can be very difficult. So but it's even for everybody, right?
Yeah.
If the puzzle is very hard, it's very hard for everybody. So it's
cool.
Very unique. Yeah. No, I totally recommend that one. That's my number 3, White Castle.
Nice. And it just looks so good with the bridges and the dice on it. Yeah. It's a good looking game for sure. My number 3, actually Sam talked about it earlier already, and that was After Us. And it was published in 2023 by Florian Sirix. This one, I played it with my sister. And then she's like, okay, I'm buying this. And then she went and bought it. But it was just so satisfying. It looks complex when you're looking at it. The cards have all sorts of stuff on it. But you get 4 cards, and it's a deck building game. You'll be buying more cards. And you have the 4 cards, and you just decide on what order you want to put them in, trying to get some of these rectangle to connect with each other, because you will score every completed rectangles. So... and you'll get the resources. Some will allow you to trade resources for different things. And you're going to be using those resources afterwards to buy more cards. And it's all like a monkey theme. Like you have your base monkey, I don't know what it was, but then you could buy like chimpanzee cards or gorilla cards or baboon cards. And I think it was like, I don't remember.
Yeah,
right?
Orangutans, mandarins are what you start with, and you have chimps, apes, orangutans, and the last one, it starts with an M. They're the blue. It's the blue one. I have the game right here.
I want to say Mansoon, but I don't even know that that's a monkey at all. So
nope, it's not.
But
I've got it. Keep going.
Yeah, but then like when you're buying on one of those categories, because you got to pick which category you're going to go to, and you can buy a
mandrills.
Ooh. See, so close, Mansoon, mandrills.
Yep. Chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and mandrills. You had half the word right, so that's good.
Was Mansoon like a storm or something? Yeah.
Monsoon is a storm, yes. So
I'm French, right? So
you can pronounce it any way you wish. It's okay. Go ahead.
She calls a thimble a thumble. Which
oh my God.
Sense,
that makes sense.
Right?
That makes sense. Why is it called a thimble?
English
when you put
is
it on
hard.
your thumb.
It's on our thumb.
No. English is stupid. That's the problem, because we try to take over other people's languages. Oh yeah, we like that word. We're gonna keep it on ours.
Right?
And
how many like
whatever.
French words are déjà vu and yeah.
Right. Exactly. We just need to come up with our own words and leave y'all's languages alone.
But yeah,
By
so
the way,
then you can buy. Sorry, I will go back to the game. You can buy like level 1 cards or level 2 cards, which are like more like they just provide more. But then each monkey category will give you like more of a certain thing. It was really neat. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm glad my sister bought it so I could just play her game.
Yeah,
and win-win. But
yeah,
it was
if
great.
you play a game at a convention and then you buy it, it automatically skips your shelf of shame because you've already played it.
Yeah. And I mean, my shelf of shame is impressive. So.
No, it is. Yeah, you need to keep blossoming there. That's the way to do it. But yeah,
I did get 5 down this week though.
Oh, so. That's super. That's cool.
Yeah.
After Us is one of my favorite games of this year, I think, because I went into it. It was an auto buy for me almost off the bat, because back when I was working for Mythic Games, and this was 3 years ago now at this point, a buddy that I worked with at Mythic Games was the friend of Florian Sirius, and he showed me some of these cards, and he was asking me, does it work? From a graphic design perspective, is it too busy? Is it too? And I was like, no, man, this is great artwork, and it was Vincent Dutrait's artwork. He's my favorite artist, and so that put just that interaction put this game on my radar way before it came out. And so when it came out, I was like, must have. So I bought it off the fact, and people have been like panning it because it's not really a deck building game. It's you're putting cards in your deck and all that kind of stuff.
Isn't that
but it's
the
not
description
really
of deck building?
Yes, it absolutely is. And people have just been panning this game because it's too simple and it's not what they wanted it to be, and so they're panning it. And I'm like, guys,
I loved it.
It's such a good game. And it looks so good. And there's so much. We've played this in a hotel when my son plays football and we travel. And so we have to stay in hotels sometimes to get him to his game on time. And we were playing this over breakfast one time. And the ladies that were cleaning up, they stopped what they were doing to watch us play because it looked so good. And it's just, I love it when games are like that. When people stop what they're doing to come watch just because of how beautiful the game is. I love that. And After Us definitely does it. So consequently, Florian Sirius, he is coming up in. I've played After Us. I also picked up the Art Project at Calgary Tabletop Day, and I've played Art Project 3 times already since coming home. Twice solo, and I taught my wife how to play it last night. We are loving that game. So Florian Sirius is on my radar at this point. That he's 2 for 2. So nice. And both of those games, to his credit, have Vincent Dutrait's artwork on it, and they both look amazing. So huge props. So After Us is a great game. Good pick.
Well, thank you.
I just have to say, I love that you play a board game in the morning at breakfast at your son's sporting event, and that your son plays that. That is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. And After Us is one of the games that he was like, okay, fine. My dad's a geek. I'll play a game with him. But after a couple of turns, he's like, oh yeah, let's go. Let's keep going. He was really enjoying it. So he loved putting those frames together.
Yeah.
He was like personally challenging himself to try to get all the frames, which I don't know that you can do a lot. It's like super rare for you to match all the frames on your cards, but he was able to pull it off once.
Nice.
And he was super proud of himself for that. So yeah, it's a great game. Cool. Love it. Awesome. We're on number 3. My number 3.
No, wait.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was my... I was like, wait, did we skip Carla? That was me. That's right. Yeah, Sam, you're number 3.
It goes Carla, you, me. Carla, you, me.
It's too
That's
early.
how it's supposed to go. You're right, it is. Who scheduled this, by the way?
Huh. Some weirdo.
Yeah. My number 3 is it's a game that I knew I already loved before I played this game, because this is just a 2-player box of Dice Throne, but this is Santa versus Krampus. And I got this in people. Okay, I got to back up a little bit. In San Antonio, Texas, there's a store called Night Watch Games, and I was down there talking to the owners to kind of showcase them on my channel. While I was there, Bubba Stallcup from Love Thy Nerd and Andrew Lowen from Lowen Games, the designer of Deliverance, they live like an hour away from San Antonio, so they came down and met me there. And while I was there, this was back in May, and it was just when I was getting my channel started, and I said, what are some games? I've been out of the loop. I've been working for these companies, not really staying up on what all has been happening in the industry. Just been kind of, tunnel visioned on the specific company I was working for. What do I need? What are some games that I should be looking at to kind of get back into the game, so to speak? And Dice Throne was one of the games that both Andrew and Bubba said that I should look at. And so I couldn't, if I was looking at the display in Night Watch, and they had Season 1 big box, $120 or something like that. Season 2 big box, $120. Okay, well, I can't do that. And then I saw little bitty Marvel 2-player. Okay, I'll try that one. And so I picked up one of the 2-player Marvel Dice Thrones boxes, and I took it back home. Sat on my shelf for a little bit, didn't really get around to it. Finally got around to playing it. Immediately went out and bought the rest of the Marvel characters. Right. It was like we loved it that much. And so I knew I loved the game, but Marvel, the Santa versus Krampus is such a cool set. Both of them are super like heavy hitters characters. Yeah. And it's like an epic Titanic battle between Santa and Krampus. And one of our favorite Christmas movies is Violent Night. I don't know if you've seen that with David Harbour.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. It's a Christmas movie. You just have to go with it. But it super has a lot of bad language, and it super has a lot of gore. So be careful. Don't show it to your kids. But it is definitely an adults night out kind of movie. And my wife usually abhors violence in movies. Every time we watch like little TV police dramas, and every time a gun goes off, she jumps and screams. That's how much. But she loves Violent Night. She loves it. She's cracking up the entire time. It's super Santa thematic. And that's the Santa that you're playing in Santa versus Krampus.
Nice.
I know. I went around the back door to get into the front. I get it. I understand. But Santa versus Krampus is such a great little box. It has so much theme wrapped into it. All of the little JT played Krampus and I played Santa, of course, and all of the little they're called rejects that Krampus has. All the little reject toys that Krampus has are so freaking thematic. They're so great. But then Santa's over here, like, splashing you with eggnog and hit you with the flat of his axe blade, and just like making you, filling you up with good cheer when you're not supposed to be cheerful, and as Krampus, and it's just such a thematically cool thing. And I love Dice Throne anyway, but I loved how those two characters kind of played off of each other, so that it was so close. JT won, of course, and I only had like maybe 6 health left. So it was a super close battle, and we had a great time. So that was my number 3, Santa versus Krampus Dice Throne.
I found Dice Throne is such a well-balanced game. Almost every time I play it, it's a very tight battle.
Right.
This was one that the first time I played it, it was like the first version. So before season 1 was kind of made into season 1. I interrupted the game, called a few game store, found a copy, and went and bought it. Like, it was so good. And I own pretty much all of it now. I didn't back the X-Men one because I'm like, how much Dice Throne does a girl really need?
Don't talk to me about that, because I'm the same way with Unmatched. I've got I think 6 boxes of Unmatched sitting over there, but then I also have so far 4 boxes. I've got all of the Marvel heroes for Dice Throne.
Well, and then the mission's coming too, and I don't know. I'm on the fence.
You'll get it.
Probably eventually. I'm just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, we're probably going to do the same thing. It's so good. I'm a huge X-Men. Having Wolverine, sorry.
Yeah.
I want Wolverine to go up against Thor. I just want that to happen in my life. So it's probably going to happen, yeah.
Awesome.
Very nice. So that was your number 3.
Number 3, correct.
Number 2's now. My number 2 is Earth, made in 2023 by Max Tardif.
Oh, now, you got to play it.
I did. I got to teach it. So I had, there was a couple games that I taught this young couple, and they just loved them. But this one, the wife she went out and bought it after. She just loved it. She likes Terraforming Mars, is I think her favorite tableau builder. And I said, well, then I think you might enjoy this. So she was so excited to play, but we got to play it, and it is something that I had backed, kickstarted it, and received it, played it. We played it at a convention, like it was our first game that we played, and I had learned it, and we were just kind of like, okay. And so I was not overly excited about it. I think it was the wrong game to play when we, jump into Friday night at a convention. We're all hyped up, ready to go, sit down, and we just build an engine. Like, maybe not the game to do that. So anyway, it kind of sat on my shelf for a bit, played it another time, and it was like, this is a good puzzle. And then I pulled it out a couple weeks ago, and I'd been playing it constantly ever since. It is so good. And I know I talked to you, Sam, about it, and you're like, it's just not the game for me, but it is the game for me. I love puzzle. I like a thinky puzzle that plays quick too, because you are building up your tableau of cards, which are mostly, they are all either trees, herbs, flowers, or mushrooms. And all you're doing is trying to make synergy in all these cards and them play off each other again with the combos. But you will play these cards in a 4x4 in front of you, and you'll take an action. And when you take an action, it kind of has that Race for Galaxy. What's the other game we have? San Juan, where you take an action and then everybody else gets a sub action of that. So it's all simultaneous play. And so there's really no downtime at all. I'm taking an action. If I'm planting cards, I get to do 2 cards. You all get to do 1. if I'm taking the action where I gain soil, which is our currency in the game, and that's how we spend to pay for the cards, I get like a 5 soil, you will get 2 kind of thing. Or then you also have these little growth spots on your cards. So you are growing these little sprouts, or I think they're like bamboo wooden little pieces that are so adorable that you will build up, and then you'll put a canopy on the top and get big points off of that. If you don't actually complete the canopy, they're only worth 1 each. You're also composting cards, which just all you're literally doing is flipping them over and putting them in a pile on your board. But it's kind of neat because they're all worth 1 point at the end of the game, but you can spend them for different things. You can spend them for more growth. You can spend them for dirt, which again is your currency, because all the cards have different actions on them. So every time you choose an action, you do the action, then you activate all that color of card in your tableau. It's just so satisfying for a combo lover. I know JT said he likes this game too.
Oh, he does. He loves it. Yeah, he absolutely loves it. But yeah, it feels like work for me. I like I told you, it's like everything. It's such a great design. It's such a classic design, and I've only played it once, but I knew walking away from it, if somebody loves Terraforming Mars, they will absolutely love Earth. And so that is an absolutely great connection that you made there. But yeah, I feel like when I should have punched in for work before I started playing that game, because then I would have at least made some money. That's just how it felt for me. How everything, it's like, because as you were going through talking about it, well, this allows you to do that, and then you can do this and do that and this, and I'm like, I'm at an insurance convention. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to get a spreadsheet out. There's so much going on. It's just, that's how it felt for me. But yes, it is an incredibly tremendous design, and it's one of those games that I know people will love. It is just not for me, because there's just too much going on. I don't think there's any more going on with like a game like Darwin's Journey that I really enjoy playing. But I think it was the thematic connect for me for Darwin's Journey than a game like Earth, because Earth just has that kind of nature theme to it.
Yeah,
and which you're just trying to build up nature, which I get it. I get it. It works well. It's a great theme to work within. For a design space, but Darwin's Journey's theme just kind of grabbed me more. So I was more invested in Darwin's Journey than I was in Earth. Yeah. But I'm super glad that you like it, and I know that it's going to be a popular game, and it already kind of is, but it's just not for me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is for me, and it's the price point of it is awesome. It's not a real expensive game. It plays in, I'd say, half the time of Terraforming Mars. You don't have any of that area control that you do in, or, like we're on the board where you're gaining all those things. But it's just, it's a perfect game for me in my collection. And I think a lot of people will really like this game. But
cool,
definitely check out Earth, my number 2.
Yeah, that one was cool. Like I played it the first time at FalCon with my brother, and it was a little brutal start because he's like, okay, so in this game you create a 4x4 grid. I was like, okay, all right, let's get started. And I was like, wait, stop.
Oh dear.
I feel like something's missing. And in his defense, my sister's like, oh yeah, that's my fault. And I'm like, what? Is like, because they play together a lot. They both live in Calgary, and my sister does not have the patience to learn a game. Just tell me what I need to do and then teach me as we play. And I think that's what he was doing. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to need more. So you're like the first start of the game, I'm like playing blind, but like it does have neat puzzly aspect to it that you're trying to, it was cool. But yeah, don't teach it like that. My number 2. Now, I was really excited to play this one because this was probably like Carla's favorite game, and I had never played it, and that's Everdell. And I still didn't play Everdell, but I played Everdell Farshore, and it was great. Now, first of all, theme, like the nautical theme, I just went back home. I'm from New Brunswick, from a small fishing village. And like when I got there, like the smell of the ocean and the sound of the wave, and I'm like, oh my God, I miss this. And just the nautical theme of this game. And you had like the seaweed little rubbery pieces, and then like the seashells and like the sea glass. And I was like, okay. I don't think I ever want to play Everdell. I just want to play this one just because the theme caught me so much. It was like, it felt like home as I'm playing it as well, right? So this one will eventually be in my collection. It's not yet, but it will be. And it was just very satisfying. All the different things that you're doing. It's really not a complicated game to play, but you do got to consider a whole lot of different things. And I was like, okay, so if I go and grab this one, then I'm going to have enough symbol to go at this space and be able to collect this. And I think that's how, like, we tied for a win, but you got the the tiebreaker, right, Carla?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the tiebreaker.
It was like, but I was like in the lead, and it was all the little parchment that I had collected because I made like 40 points out of those.
Oh yeah, but like movement on the ship track was the first tiebreaker. I think.
And I hadn't concentrated on that at all. But it's so cool that you can kind of, like, I concentrate on the parchment. You and Janine were like far on this ship movement. Like, there's so much that you can kind of concentrate on that builds like, and I like the games where at the end you don't quite know until the end who's the winner. I find there's nothing more demoralizing than playing a games like, everybody's 50 points ahead of me and I am not catching up. It's obvious.
That's correct.
Yeah, but having one of those games like, okay, I secretly know I'm doing this here. I don't know what they're doing, but this is looking good. So it was beautiful. And then the artwork, the animals, they had tons of little turtles in there. So I'm like taking pictures of all the turtle cards I'm coming across. Because Paul, my turtle, has his own Facebook page. So I'm posting all of those on it. You don't have a Facebook page for your dog? You should. Don't you love your pets?
I do. But they're pets. I'm pretty sure Facebook was not meant for pets.
Well, it's funny. My sister
Instagram that you had them on.
Well, he was on Instagram. It's on Facebook. The Facebook is where I post all this stuff. And my sister made fun of me with my cousin. She's like, "Oh my God, she has a Facebook page for her turtle." And my cousin's like, "Yeah, I know. I follow it." He's got quite the little following going.
I didn't know you had a Facebook. I gotta go follow Paul.
It's a turtle named Paul. You should go check out his Facebook page.
I'm not going to admit that I might do that later.
But anyways, back on track. That's my number 2, Everdell Farshore.
All right, my number 2 was a game that I played twice over the weekend. JT and I played it at the Hexagon Board Game Cafe in Calgary.
Nice.
On Thursday night when we came in. Everybody was kind of still busy getting ready for the convention, so we didn't really have anybody meeting there. Brian Drake did fly in, but they had been coming up from Alabama is a lot more harrowing than just flying in from Washington State, so they were a little tired out, so they just went back to the hotel room and went to bed. JT and I went to the Hexagon Board Game Cafe and we played Amun-Re. And
nice.
It's the 20th anniversary deluxe edition that just came out at Essen with Vincent Tutrate's artwork. I say that guy's name a lot because I love his artwork. And so usually games with his artwork are just like, I go into it thinking, you know what? At the very least, I can hang this in a shadow box on my wall and it'll be great looking art.
Yeah.
At the very least, if I hate the game, I can cannibalize it and make some good wall art out of it. So I got my bases covered. But anyway, Amun-Re is a 20-year-old game, hence the 20th anniversary edition, and it's by Reiner Knizia. It is basically just an auctioning bidding game where you're trying to bid for control over these different provinces that are in Egypt with the Nile, and you've got farmers, and you've got you're building pyramids, and you're gaining money from caravans and all of this kind of stuff. And basically the game plays out in 6 rounds. The first 3 rounds are the Old Kingdom, and you're basically just building things up. And then you have a scoring round, and then you have 3 more rounds, which is the New Kingdom. Then you have another scoring round, and then final scoring, and then the game's over. And it is just a simple yet very strategic game. Because there's a lot of, with auctioning games, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of bluff. Well, I want a bid over here. But you're really just sometimes you're just trying to pull them over there to battle you for that so that they'll leave the place that you really want to bid on alone. And so there's a lot of that going on. The bidding system is really simple. You're just taking your official and you're putting him on a spot that denotes a number of gold that you have to pay for that place. And then when somebody else bids, they have to bid higher than you do on that spot. It's really simple auction mechanic, not difficult at all. But there's so many little nuances into the different card play that you can do throughout the course of the game that will give you bonuses whenever you do certain actions, or it protects you during some of them protect you during the bidding phase, so that other people have to not just go 1 space ahead of you, but they have to go 2 spaces ahead of you, which is a lot more money that they have to spend for the thing. So it kind of deters them from bidding you up. There's just so much cool stuff going on. Then we also played with a couple of variants. There's an officials variant. Whenever you play it with 2 or 3 players, you have to use the officials variant, which just basically makes the auctioning a little bit more tight and a lower player number a game. And then we also use the statues, which is one of the new things that they came out for the Deluxe 20th Anniversary Edition, where you actually have statues of the different Egyptian gods going around. And if you're controlling one of the provinces that has one of those statues in it, then that gives you a special ability that you can use while you're controlling that area. So it's just a really cool thing. The first half, the Old Kingdom, you're building up all of these different provinces with all of these special things. But then in the New Kingdom, all of those controlling pieces come off the board. And now you have these really buff provinces that now you have to bid for again. So the New Kingdom is really kind of a new kind of bag of auction and bidding than the original, because in the first kingdom, then the Old Kingdom, you're bidding to build it up, and in the New Kingdom, you're bidding on it because it's already buff, and you want that kind of a springboard into scoring some more points. It's just a really great game. Vincent Dutrait's artwork as a new coat of paint on it is just amazing. And all of the new expansions that come in the Deluxe Edition is rocking. Alley Cat Games did an amazing job putting out this 20th Anniversary Edition. So I cannot more highly recommend it. I know it's just Reiner Knizia, but at the same time, the dude is the OG as far as prolific gamers out there right now. And it's this is one of the things where it's a deluxe edition. It's a little bit more money, but I really believe because you've got Reiner Knizia's name on it, you've got Vincent Dutrait's artwork on it, it's worth every single penny, because it's not going to leave your collection unless you just simply don't like the game. And if you don't like the game, you should do your homework before you buy it anyway.
It sounds like Raw times 5 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I've got Raw sitting over on my table as well. Yeah. And Raw is just like a junior version of Amun-Re, and it's
we're gonna like that one then, Mel.
Yeah.
I've played the original a couple of times, and it was like the components were cool. Like you had those little chiclet bricks, and then the component were really cool. This was one of those games that I found if somebody got a big lead, you couldn't catch up. And because of that, my kids would just not play. I would accidentally get a big lead, and then I'm like, I'm sorry. Oops. Don't
Not
quit.
sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
But then because it wouldn't play it, so I know I was asking JT, is like, was there anything in there that kind of mitigated that at all? That was like my one complaint with that game before.
Oh boy, no.
It was good.
He is just a great player, so I don't fault him for this, but he obliterated me. Online, he like tripled my score.
In front of the world.
And there was nothing I could have done, and all I could do is just sit there and look like a noob.
Nice.
So I was like, fine, I'm not a good Egyptian pharaoh. I get it. Okay, let's move on. But yeah,
but I do really enjoy the bidding mechanism in there. It's the same one you'll see in Stockpile. Like, has that similar where you move and so as soon as one person's in each one spot, then that's what you get.
Yep.
But the 20th anniversary looks amazing. It's probably coming back.
Yeah, it will. I'm pretty sure. It's just going to take some time to get over here. I think. I don't know how distribution is going. Who's going to be doing it or anything like that. It's just, but if it shows up, if you like auctioning, bidding games, and if Reiner Knizia doesn't just give you a rash when you start thinking about him, then it's kind of a no-brainer. It's a beautiful looking game.
Reiner fans.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
We like him too. Awesome.
That's a cool one. Yeah, I want it now. But all right, into number 1.
We're number ones. All right.
Yeah.
My number 1 of the convention was a game I purchased at Troy's Market that he had all set up there, and I had this in my cart as a pre-order. I didn't think it was going to be out for a while, but I bought it, and as soon as I did, our friend Keith, who is the designer of Diceborn Heroes, he said, "Oh, I can teach you that," because he was at Gen Con or one of the big American conventions, and he played it. I said, "Awesome!" So this is Age of Innovation, made in 2023 by Hage Ostertag. I'm gonna say. Now this is the newer, I'd say, 2.0 Terra Mystica. Now, I actually wasn't a huge fan of Terra Mystica, but I recently played Terra Nova with my friend Cherry has a copy, and I learned it for her. She's a very busy person, so sometimes I learn her games and then we play them, and I loved it. And I don't know if it's just I'm evolving as a gamer, and I wasn't into that sort of mechanic before, but I really like it now. And then I had to look up Terra Mystica again, and I'm like, yeah, that is kind of neat. And then Age of Innovation came out, and it's a newer version of it, but with more. And of course, like, I always want more, right? So I was eyeing this game down, bought it. Keith taught us the next morning, Sunday morning, we played it. I had punched it at night at Bernie's the night before and got it all ready because there's a lot of punching going on. So there's a lot of bits in this game. But anyway, we got this to the table. Now this, if you've never played Terra Mystica, it's a game where you are, there's a map with different terrains on it, and your faction has its own terrain, and you are just basically trying to build on that or terraform other terrains into yours and build onto those. And it's not like you can destroy anybody's, which I'm not a huge fan of in games where you can tear somebody down. The only thing that you can do is, terraform a spot which maybe they would have built on, but you can't take their buildings away. And the nice thing is there's some positive player interaction, which I really like in games too, is when you're building, if you build or upgrade near somebody, you will give them power. And the power works really cool because you have these 3 little sections on your player board, which you have these little purple discs that you'll move around. And so they start in the bottom section, and you will slide, when you gain power, you slide them up into the second section. And then once that's full, then you will slide into the third section, and that's when you can spend the power. And what you're spending the power on is getting more money, getting more little workers. I'm going to say they're the cubes in the game. You're gaining scholars, which you can use them to move up on these different tracks. You can gain shovels. Now the shovels, what they do is they help you terraform the spaces around in order to build up your settlements. So you have these like terrain sections on your board, how you can terraform them. So there's, I think, 6 or 7, and you start at the top. So if my color is green, I can terraform to say like red and black with 1 shovel. And then going down further, I can terraform yellow and blue with 2 shovels and so on. And so to terraform them, you need a shovel. And if you need to go further down, you need 2 shovels. You can pay for them with different things. You can use power, all kinds of things. But once you terraform them, you always get a build, and you can build your little main house, and then you can upgrade those from there. And I don't know how I didn't enjoy this mechanic before, but I absolutely love this. I love the building up on your board and the using the power, using money and all different things, because you have to figure out how I'm going to get to do things this round that I need to do in order to score the round tile. And then there's this one, the difference between this and Terra Mystica is it adds this whole books section. So you're collecting books that you'll gain all these innovation tiles from. And there's just so much more going on. But I mean, I could talk for an hour on this game, which I won't, but it's awesome. And if you did like Terra Mystica or Gaia Project, I'm not a huge space fan. So those always kind of, I'll play them, but they won't be ones that draw me in. This theme it's still it has the fantasy theme a bit, but it also has more of a modern theme to it, I guess, which appeals to me more. And it's just awesome. And I love it. And that's Age of Innovation, my number 1 that I got played. I'm going to get it to the table again this weekend. So excited.
I want to play that one. I love Terra Mystica so much. Yeah. And Gaia Project, although Find Gaia Project was harder to get across the map, and then I got lapped. In points, so it didn't go well for me. Keith was the one who taught me that game too, and he
really,
yeah. But it does look so good.
Awesome,
perfect.
Right, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is a race game. My family love race games. My boys race dirt bikes since Patrick was 1.5 when he started riding a dirt bike. So race games are easy to get to the table in our household. There really needs to be a dirt bike based one, by the way. Somebody create that for me. And this is Heat Pedal to the Metal. Now, I resisted getting that one. I was like, I have Downforce. I have Formula D. I have Formula Motor Racing. Do we really need another race game? And then, so we got playing this one. My friend Lyle taught it for us. And then the other 3 players, we had never played it. So all 3 of us are sitting down to play this for the first time. And we got 1 lap in, interrupted the game. We all went and bought a copy of our own Heat. And then we finished the game afterwards. It was so good. It's a deck building race game. And it's so interesting because if you go in the corner and you got a little bit too much speed, you got to add heat to your discard pile. And this just clutters your hand. And you're like shifting depending on what gear you're in, how many cards you can play that round. But it's a race. You're trying to make it around as fast as you can without wrecking your motor as you're racing. It was so good. It was so good. And this is just a base game because there's 4 maps in the base game. Like there's 4 maps. There's a bunch of extra stuff that I haven't even looked at yet. It's gonna be so amazing. Yep. But yeah, it was great. And that was my number 1, Heat Pedal to the Metal.
That's a good one. I've got my JT taught us how to play this when he got his Kickstarter copy or his pre-order in. I don't know which one it was, but when he got his copy in, he taught this to us like a year ago, and we've been trying ever since then to get our own copy of Heat. Just a couple weeks before, about a month, I guess, before Calgary Tabletop Day, Troy said, "I've got some copies coming in. I'll hold one back for you. Just don't worry about it." Well, right after he said that to me, I went to one of my local shops, the one that JT said, "I bet you there's some copies of it sitting on the shelf over there right now." And so we went over to this place. It's called Hooked on Toys in our town. It's like a one-stop shop for your hunting license, your guns,
of course,
knives, above ground pools. Oh yeah, you can go buy board games too. So we went over there, and sure enough, there's like 4 copies on the shelf over there. So I buy one there. I get back home, and I show my wife, "Hey, look what I found." And she's like, "Dang it." Well, apparently she had put her information in on a website. I can't remember which one it was, for when it comes available again. It's like a pre-order. When it comes available again, we'll charge your card and send it. Well, so now we went from like when it rains, it pours. We went from like not being able to find it all to now we have 2 copies of Heat. And so we did a giveaway for it on the channel, but I was like, man alive, it's such a great game. We tried so long to get that game in. And again, hate to be a broken record here, Vintage Detroit's artwork.
He's just
he's a busy guy.
Yeah. He is. He's super busy because he's super good at what he does.
He's so good,
But that's a great pick. All right, my number one is my number one game of all time, Bloodrage. I really, 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 really enjoyed playing Bloodrage. I was able to play it twice during the tournament, and then I was also able to teach 3 other people how to play it one night. I think it was Saturday night, which is really cool because I was planning on going to the Calgary Flames game that night. But because they started an hour earlier than they usually do, I told the guy, I can't make it because it kind of got too close to the end of the top 5 that we were going to be doing. Mm-hmm. So I had originally planned on being at the hockey game. So I'm glad, I'm a huge hockey fan, so I would have enjoyed that. But I'm glad that I wasn't there because I wouldn't have been able to teach these people Bloodrage. And they all really enjoyed it. And they had a great time. And it was just a blast. So it's my favorite game of all time. I've never, not enjoyed the game. And it's not one that was new, but it was just such a memorable experience. All 3 games that I played. So I just, it was just a great time. So I won't belabor the point, but I've talked enough about this game as it is. But it was my number one time. I just really enjoyed it. So that's my number one, Bloodrage.
I had that one on my list and I took it down because I was like, I know Sam's going to talk about it, so I don't need to have it on my. Yeah. Now this weekend you had your record game as well.
I wasn't going to say anything about it, but that is kind of I scored 226 points. It's the highest I've ever scored.
Which I want to point out, that score happened on my copy of Bloodrage, which makes it worth like at least $500 to $1,000 now.
Was it in the game that you played with him?
No, that was, thank God.
No.
I was already I was 1 point away from being lapped. Yeah. And the guy you taught was Justin. He kept stealing my rage before I got my missions or my quest out. And I scored almost. I was like, oh, not again.
Yep.
Oh, it was a great game though. It was fun.
Yep, he was being very mindful of the living force. He did a great job. Learning from me in the previous game because the other guy, I can't remember his name. He had played the game before.
I'm trying to remember who else played with us. Yeah,
it was Justin, Mallory, and then on the other side, I can't remember that fella's name. Damn,
Silver.
So bad.
His last name was Silver.
Yeah, his last name was Silver. That's right. He had played the game before, but he had made a mistake early on because he did exactly what. No. Mallory was the one that I was stealing rage from, and I think he saw how. No, I'm wrong. It was Silver. He messed up. I messed him up because he meant to quest a couple of cards, but I stole his rage and took him out, took him down to 0.
Yeah, that hurts.
And Justin saw how much that hurted. What am I, 5? Saw how much that hurt Silver, and so he was like, "Oh well, I'm gonna do that if I can." So
I was on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, you were. I'm sorry.
And then you had a great mechanism because you had the boat that got points every time it got destroyed, and then you got the card that just brought it back, and you destroyed it again and brought it back, and it's like, oh my God.
That's definitely part of the Loki strategy that is really kind of universally hated in that game. A lot of people say that the game is unbalanced because of the Loki strategy, and my answer to that is, look, the Loki strategy can be stopped dead in its tracks. You just have to know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, then it definitely seems overpowered. But you just have to, if you see that people are running the Loki strategy, you basically just stay away from them. Yeah. And because the whole strategy that the Loki strategy is based on is really basically like losing in battle. And if there aren't any battles that they can lose in, you've stopped the Loki strategy dead in its tracks. And I was kind of explaining that to Mallory in our first game because she was seeing, you're just going to keep doing that, aren't you? And I'm like, well, yeah, but here's how you stop me. And then she did what I told her to do, and I couldn't do that to her anymore. I had to go over here to this other side of the board, and then they would stop me from doing it. So it was just this thing of where you can stop the Loki strategy. You just have to know it. I always say that Bloodrage is a drafting game more than it is anything else. You can win or lose the game with the draft. And if you are good enough not good enough, but if you're mindful enough to keep those cards that people want away from them and still get cards that you can use during your turn, that's how you do well in Bloodrage. So that's one of the things I just really love about it. It's very interactive, and that's one of the things that I super enjoy about it. So, but yeah, I just really enjoyed playing it this weekend, more than I have a lot in the past, because I was able to share it with people who hadn't played it before. Yeah, and that's always a bonus for me.
Huge joy. Yeah.
Such a good game for sure. Good pick, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
So that was our top 5 of all the games we ended up playing at the Calgary Tabletop Game Day. It would have been a lot longer list if we made like the top games we wish we could have gotten to the table, but just couldn't get to it. There was a lot of games for me that I was like, oh, I really want to try that. I just couldn't happen. It didn't happen.
Right.
I was talking with Lee yesterday because I'm getting another shelf. Because I have to. But Lee's an enabler. Like he will play, but he doesn't love it like I do. He's like, well, Jerome's moved out. Like that room. Nice. And I was like, Lee, stop. And I was like, okay, when I retire, like in years and years and years from now, I was like, I'm doing a month-long game event. For a month, I'm playing games. So I've got big plans. You might want to get on my wish list so you can attend my retirement party. But
there you go.
Yeah, and then I'll get all these games played. Like there'll be no, I wish I could have gotten that to the table. It'll get to the table.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So next episode, we're going to be doing our top 9 Christmas gift, but we're breaking it down in 3 categories. We're going to do our top 3 stocking stuffers, our top 3 family games, and our top 3 gift for avid gamers.
Yeah.
And before we call it quits, Sam, where can we find you?
You can find, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I have my own channel on YouTube called FOBG, F-O-B-G, Flip Side of Board Games. That's what that's called. And I'm about just over 6,000 subscribers. And I've got about 190, probably by the time this goes up, about 195, 196 videos that are up there that you can watch.
Nice.
I'm low on the review side right now. I'm really high on live plays and live Q&As. And I'm starting to do this thing called the live review, where instead of recording and editing my reviews, I'm just doing them live so that I can interact with the audience that's there. I can answer questions that they have. The general format is the same as any other recorded review. Is a general overview of the rules, what I thought about the game, and then a rating. And then after that, I talk with the people that are in the audience at that point, and then I don't have to edit it. And it's just there, and you can go. And so I'm going to start really leaning into that a little bit more. So that'll be kind of a hook, I guess you could say, the thing that differentiates me from everybody else, I guess. But we do a lot of live plays. I'm trying to do more live solo plays as well. So JT and I were actually talking about that, and he was giving me some pointers on what games I should do. So Final Girl's going to come up here in a little bit. And then 20 Strong is another one that he's going to teach me how to play, and I'll probably showcase that because we both are fans of chip theory games for different reasons. I like the people that makes up chip theory games, and he likes their games a lot more than I do. But the company is a great company, so I don't mind throwing them some love. So and then Instagram, I'm is probably the less or rather the least amount of content that I put out. I do some stuff. I did put out some pictures of the art project when I was teaching myself how to play it a couple of days ago. Really enjoy that game so far. So I'm looking forward to getting more people to the table around it. But and then Facebook is where basically I just let everybody know. I'm also on Twitter as well, but Twitter is hit or miss. But anyway, I usually post on Twitter and Facebook whenever we're going live, and then we do Instagram pictures every once in a while, and then our YouTube channel as well. So any one of those.
And I did, like you and JT just finished doing your top 100. I did enjoy that one as well. So that was worth.
We did. That was something that was kind of a. JT was like, "You need to do a new top 10, top 100 because it's been like 6 years since you did it or something like that." And I was like, "Well, I'll do it if you do it." And it became one of those dare thingies. So we did those together. My wife did her top 50 as well. So she took a little bit of a different avenue on it. She did her top 50 was all based on memories and the experience that came along with the game, not just the game itself. So that's what she used to kind of put her top 50 games in order. So that's up there as well. So it's we're enjoying it. We're doing our top 10 Christmas movies. That's going up today. So
awesome.
There's a lot of fun stuff on there. Cool. We're very community based. So we enjoy it.
How about you, Carla? Where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at boardgamespecialist, all one word, and I have a Facebook page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics. What about you?
So we do have a Discord channel. Make sure to check that out. We'll add the link to this. And we finally figured out how to do a link that stays and doesn't expire. That took a few months. But so we have a link on there. So be sure to check us on Discord. I'm also on Instagram at Mel's_boardgame_room. I have a Facebook page that's called Mel's Board Game Room. And my YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Sam, thank you so much for joining us for doing this.
Awesome.
You are very welcome. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We need to do it more often.
Yeah, it was great.
For sure.
And maybe next time not quite so early, right?
Please? Pretty please. With sugar on top, can we not do it at the cracker early?
All right, well, thank you for tuning in. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.